Let's talk about post-class feedback. Not every platform requires this, but I am a firm believer in if it's required or if it's not and there's a space for it, like on online teaching platforms. Off the top of my head, I don't think it's required at all, but I do think it is a great way to market yourself. So I'm a firm believer that even if it's not required, it should be done at least occasionally. So today we're going to talk about writing great feedback, and then at the end I'm going to share with you some feedback I've received from parents, the positives and the negatives. Hey there, I'm Allison from OnlineTeacherAllison.com, where stay-at-home parents learn how to teach online so they can earn an income from home. So post-class feedback. I was very wildly unprepared for this, my first class, because I didn't know I was going to have to do it, and it was not good. I don't want you to be unprepared for this, and I want you to use this to your advantage. So today we're going to talk about some ways you can write some really good feedback really quickly and use it to market yourself so you get more classes with these kids, okay? So first things first, I really like to think about the sandwich method as I am working my feedback, especially if there's a behavior issue that I need to address or they're really struggling with a concept. So if you're not familiar, the sandwich method, think of it as like 3 layers. So your bread, your peanut butter, and your bread. Your bread, your cheese, your bread. Whatever it is, it's 3 layers. So your 2 bread levels are your positives, and that middle layer is what needs to be addressed. So let's say that Johnny was having trouble staying on screen today. Johnny was running back and forth. So I'm going to say something to the effect of, "Dear Mom and Dad, thanks for booking class with me today. I had a great time with Johnny. Today we learned how to name a pencil. Johnny did a great job pronouncing the word pencil. We are practicing using it in a complete sentence, using the sentence frame. This is a pencil. Johnny had some trouble staying on camera today, so I went ahead and kept teaching as if he was there so you can catch what he missed in the recording." So do you kind of see how I mentioned that he was not there? I still taught it, so a lot of times, like ESL platforms, you're recorded so they can play it back later. It's weird, you get used to it. So that was my negative. And then I'm going to say the positive. I had a lot of fun with Johnny playing with his toys and naming them in English. You're going to go on and say, "Thanks for booking class with me. I hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to check my profile for availabilities. Sincerely, your name," whatever it is on the platform. Mine on VIP Kid was Teacher Allison CE. I don't have CE in my middle or last initial, so it's just random. So just something quick and easy. So we had the sandwich method. I said what we learned, what Johnny did really well on, what we're working on, and another thing I enjoyed about Johnny. There are some classes where it can be hard to come up with 2 positives. Try your best, okay? So when I type this sort of feedback, it takes me 3-4 minutes. It really depends on how in-depth I go. Now, you will learn more than just the word pencil in the lesson, so it depends on how much of that you want to focus on. You don't have to focus on it at all, but I like to, as just kind of like a recap. It helps me kind of remember what I taught because it's really early, right? So that is the most basic way that I like to think about it. As you write feedback, you will make it your own. You will figure out what works best for you in the short time you have to give it. So VIP Kid, for example, the classes were 25 minutes and they booked every half hour. So I had a 5-minute window to write the required feedback. And while it wasn't like technically paid, we got paid for a class. So I just considered that part of the class. I got a 30-minute class, even though I only taught 25 usually. And part of that 30 minutes was writing feedback back to parents. The only time I had to really spend any extra is if class went over because I didn't time myself right, or there was just a lot in there and we're cramming it in, or the student's late and I decided to give them that time. So I do have one feedback. I'm not going to show you that one, but I saw it as I was reading through them today, and they said the student was negligent. I don't think that was the word they meant, but when it translated over. And thanks for delaying class for 5 minutes so he can get as much as he could. I'm pretty sure that student was longer than 5 minutes late, but I was trying to cover my butt and say, since he was so many minutes late, I stayed 5. I could not stay anymore because I had another class right after. And the parent understood. It was 5 stars. So I also use it kind of as a place to cover my behind if something were to happen on either end technologically wise. So I also use that 5 minutes for that too. And I'll leave that in feedback, or I will send it in a note to the platform. VIP Kid had a spot in their feedback where I could leave a note to the platform if something like that happened, like technologically, or like if it's just that lesson level is not a good fit for them. All right, so this was going to be short and sweet because feedback will be your own, but as you're getting comfortable with it, I really, really recommend the sandwich method. When I wrote my first feedback, I think it was like 3 sentences. Positive, negative, positive. Like, it was bad. That student did come back, but it wasn't good. All right, so I'm going to show you some of my feedbacks. I'm going to read them off my phone, but I'm going to get them here when I'm editing. So this one, these two are from Leo. I had tons of classes with Leo. He loved me. His mom loved me. I loved them. It was great. So there's 2 here you can see. It says, Leo, I'm going to start at the top one, and then go down to the bottom one. Leo can now follow the teacher to say complete sentences, but we still need to strengthen practice. Now remember, these were originally written in Chinese and then translated over, so it's not perfect, but you usually get the gist. We all like teacher Allison's class and look forward to seeing you next class. So the mom was saying, like, we know we need to practice sentences, and that was something we were working on together in class. Sorry. Bless you. The next one. Leo's favorite teacher. He likes you very much. Leo wants to share more stories with you. He will study English hard. Thank you. So that was Leo's biggest frustration, is he wanted to tell me things that he was excited about that he did that day, but he didn't have the English for it. So that was what we were working on in class together. The next one, Dora, she was another big regular of mine. I had her so much. And these are my favorite feedbacks, where this parent recognizes the difficulties you go through to make it to every class. Thank you so much for waking up so early for the course. She was my first class of the day. Most days, like, no lie, I think she was 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for waking up so early for the course, and keep encouraging Dora to speak whole sentences instead of individual words on the class. So that was what we were working on with Dora. When I think about my high school Spanish days, I took 3 years. And could I make sentences now? I've been graduated for 13 years. Oh my gosh. So it's been like 15 years since I took these classes. Could I make more than the basic sentence? No. Me llamo Allison. Like, ¿cómo está? Is that how are you? Yeah. Bien. Like, I know now at this point, I know vocabulary, words. I could say words. I could name a few things, but putting together sentences is hard. And so that's what these students are going through too, is they know the words, but they're having trouble putting it in sentences. So that's what I spent a lot of time with my students. That's something I was known for, was the sentence frames and making it so it's more conversational and not just pencil. No, this is a pencil. I write with a pencil. The pencil is yellow. Lots of different sentences you can practice with whatever vocabulary words you're given in that lesson. All right, here's Leo again. Like I said, he was a regular. Thanks for Allison's patient guidance. Leo likes your class very much and is very lucky to meet such a teacher who always encourages him. Thanks for Allison's careful preparation every time. Dora again. Dora really enjoys your class. Thanks for your patience. Can we keep in touch? And she left her email, which I'm not sharing with you. And we did keep in touch for a while. This was at the end of lessons because the Chinese government had changed the laws. And so we all kind of knew that we were on our final classes together. And that's when Mom left me that feedback. And okay, so this one is my one negative review that actually held on the platform. At this point, I couldn't fight it anymore, and it was at the very end. They probably caught me on a bad day, or my resting you-know-what face, RBF, was shining through. It's a 2-star. The teacher's face in class is like you owe her $1 million. So I don't know, whenever they translate he and she over, it's always he, or Mr. instead of Miss, so. He keeps a straight face all the time and has no interest in encouraging children. Just talk to yourself. So, I mean, maybe it was like that. I never went and watched a replay. Maybe they caught me on a bad day. But I do know, I feel bad that this is what they felt they got from my class. And I don't remember this class specifically. I think this was the first time the student ever took my class, and no, they did not come back. Sometimes they do come back. There are instances where you get a bad feedback and the student comes back, and that is really stressful for the teacher because it's like, if you didn't like it, why are you here? There's so many other teachers to choose from. So they did not come back. Again, it was at the end of like lessons, like when they could take lessons, so they didn't have even the opportunity to, and that's part of the reason I didn't fight it. I was like, whatever. And now I wish I did, but it's okay. So you can kind of see where they felt like I was not so great: inefficient encouragement, insufficient guidance, insufficient student output, insufficient corrections, patience issue, and distracted. But seeing as that is the only bad one, it's hard. Like, it did ruin my day, my morning when it came in. So feedback has the potential, parent feedback from them to you has the potential to absolutely destroy your day or absolutely make your day. And I am thankful that I have these other positive ones to go on. I did not show you all of them because like after reading all those positive ones from my regulars, it makes me feel better about myself as a teacher. It can really like knock you down, especially when you're new and you don't have these to fall back on. It does unfortunately happen. So I just wish I could reach out to that parent now and be like, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened, but I would love to try to give you a 5-star class. So that's something you can do. A lot of times they have places to respond to parent feedback, and the positives, I would say, thank you so much. Like, it helps me because it's public. Everyone else can see it. And this one I didn't. And there's only a short time frame to respond, and there was just a lot going on in my personal life where I just didn't do it. I didn't have it, this capacity and it mentally to do it nicely because I was just frustrated about so many things at that point. So I wish I responded because other parents can see that, and that's kind of a way to stick up for yourself and say, oh, I'm sorry, like I wish I gave you a 5-star class, please come back, or like defend yourself there. You know how when you like read Amazon reviews and sometimes the company will respond and say, well, we did this for you, but like, and you're still complaining kind of thing. So I kind of wish I did that, but you know, it is what it is. I want you to know that feedback is subjective. So just because you weren't a great match for that student doesn't mean you're not going to be a great match for all 10 of these students. Me and this student were not a great match, but me and Dora, me and Leo, me and I think I showed you another Emily. Did I? No, I actually had another Emily. She was a regular. Her mom left feedback, never like wrote anything in. So we were great matches, me and Daisy. Now these are not their real names. They all picked English names. So I had lots of regulars that I was a great match for them. And those are the students you really try to focus on and give your all when your all maybe didn't shine through that day. We are human, right? We all have our bad days, and there are AI lessons on VIP Kid, but from what I've heard, parents hate them. So there is something to be said about getting a live lesson from a live human that is fluent in the language you're trying to learn, even if they don't always have great days, because that's the nature of being a human. So I hope you're having the greatest day ever. Remember, if you are looking to start teaching online, I have a couple of resources for you. The first one is a live challenge. It's free. I am still creating it, so when you sign up for it, it will be waitlisted. Right now, kind of the idea is for you to figure out who you are as an online teacher, what your strengths are. So for me, like you saw, it was speaking in complete sentences, working on conversational practice. And for me, I found that out. I kind of knew it a little bit, but I kind of knew it a little bit, but I learned more along the way as I taught the classes. And so that's what I want for you, is kind of have a very good educated guess of who you are. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to set up your profile, your online teacher profile, and make your profile picture and your introduction video and write up your introductory blurb and just get you all ready to go so that you can put it on your platform, or that when you do get hired on a platform, it's all ready to go for you. OnlineTeacherAllison.com/challenge. Signing up on the waitlist will get you first dibs to the spots because I teach on Zoom and I don't pay for the upgraded version that lets me have a bunch of people. So, and then the next one is a live training from me where I teach you interview tips for online teacher platforms. So I have some secrets here that will help you get hired, but I have 5 more and they're even better. And I use these all the time throughout my lessons, and it's supposed to help you get hired. So you're going to get a live training with me, a workbook you can download and use again and again. You're going to get a Q&A with me at the end, and you can grab your spot when it opens up after the free challenge. It's going to be free challenge first and then live training is how it's going to go. You can get that at onlineteacherallison.com/get hired. And if you are ready to get started but you don't know where, grab your free one-page download to help match you to a platform, whether you want to teach ESL or something else, whether you have experience or you don't. It takes all of that into consideration. You can grab your copy at onlineteacherallison.com/platform. I hope you're having the greatest week ever, and we'll chat soon. Bye.